In 2016, the United Kingdom shocked the world by voting to leave the European Union, the first member state ever to trigger Article 50. Brexiteers across the UK were certain not only that the country would rise to new heights, but that more and more countries would start leaving the Union. People often claim this would start with Poland and Hungary, but we feel this is highly unlikely, as they would lose billions of euros in EU funding. The same goes for 17 other member states, who are all net beneficiaries from EU funding. That leaves 10 net contributors, of which we have chosen 3 that we believe have the most potential to leave the Union in the future. Starting with Italy. Italy faces a significant immigration problem due to its geographical location as a major gateway to Europe from Africa, with more than 100,000 arrivals last year alone. This has led to political tensions and confrontations with the EU, who are often blamed, correctly or incorrectly, for a lack of immigration control. The recent election of President Meloni also shows that there are strong nationalist and patriotic sentiments in Italy. Meloni has expressed that sovereignty meant the defense of family, borders, the nation-state, and identity, some of which stands in stark contrast with the EU's core principles. Public support for the EU also used to be low, as in 2016 only 44% of Italians believed their country benefited from being members of the European Union. However, this has since risen, as the latest polls show that 66% of Italians have an optimistic view on the future of the EU. Next, there's Sweden. Just like the UK before Brexit, immigration has become a major hot topic in Sweden. While the country has often been considered a progressive member since joining the Union, the 2022 elections led to the far-right Eurosceptic Sweden Democrats Party becoming the second largest. Though most of the country still believes EU membership has been beneficial to Sweden, its population remains one of the most in favor of a Brexit-style departure in 2022, with nearly 1 in 5 Swedes wanting their country to cut ties. On top of that, Sweden doesn't use the euro, making it slightly easier to leave. And then there's Austria. The rise of Austria's Freedom Party shows that Austria is turning towards nationalism and right-wing populism. Once again, immigration plays a big role here, as Austria has received the second most asylum seeker applications in the EU last year. Austria has often called for stronger EU border protection, and if the EU fails to find solutions, Austria might set up its own borders, which goes against the EU's core principles. Support for the EU is also traditionally low. In 2018, only around 50% of Austrians saw being part of the Union as beneficial to the country. Here's our opinion. No country will be leaving the European Union anytime soon. Though right-wing populist parties are gaining significant momentum, they are Eurosceptic, not necessarily anti-EU. Brexit has shown just how messy leaving the EU can be, and many countries have been turned off by the idea. With a greater sense of unity since the Russian invasion of Ukraine, support for the EU has grown considerably in the bloc since 2016, even among the countries listed in this video. Yet we do feel the EU needs to get its act together and create a common EU migration policy, as this seems to be one of the biggest drivers of Euroscepticism. The video linked above will give you an idea of the EU strategy for migration. But who do you think is most likely to leave? Leave a comment below and please subscribe and like the video. And if you'd like to support the channel further, please consider signing up to Patreon.